Good morning. This is White Raptor News Ministries. All praise and glory to the Supreme Spirit of Truth, the Living One. I hope everybody's having a blessed day and that all you ask for be answered, especially if you're asking for the truth. My name is John Carpenter. As you know, my name, the channel name is White Raptor News Ministries, and it has been a long time since I've done a live show. Partly because I had my teeth taken care of, and I just, didn't want to stand in front of the camera toothless. So, anyways, what we're going to be going over today is 666. I'm doing it on the board. First of all, I've been studying this content for almost a decade now. I have deciphered the riddle of 666. There's not anybody that can tell me any differently. In order to understand this information, you have to let go of everything that you've been taught in this plane of existence, this realm, and empty your glass, because you can't take this information on if your glass is half full or full at all. It must be empty. So first off, what you're looking at here on this board is what we say English gematria. All right. And with English gematria, the way it works is each letter of the alphabet represents the number 6, counting from A to Z. And then I ask you to ask yourself, who developed this gematria calculator, and what was the purpose? Because it takes wisdom to understand 666. So here we have an English gematria, and then there's also simple gematria. All right. And then you have Hebrew, and you also have Greek and Latin. Okay. These are all naturally, I work with English and I work with simple gematria. I don't really completely understand these three here. Maybe because I'm not Greek, Hebrew, or Latin. I don't know. So I want you to understand this. So we're going to be covering a lot of 666 this morning. And before we move on, I want you to take note here to this word, computer. I'm hoping that you guys will be able to see this. The word is computer, and using the English gematria, computer comes to 666. Also make a note here that Macintosh is $666.66. The very first Macintosh that was ever sold, that personal home computer, that's what it was going for. All right. And then also make note here about the word. Okay. The word with simple gematria comes to 60, and we'll be getting back to that. Okay. Give me 1 second here. This thing's been up here for quite a long time, and I want to get so it doesn't come off unless I get some water on it. Get some water on it. So the first parable that we're going to be going over today is going to be 2 Corinthians 2:11. Why? Give me 1 second, guys. Hang in there with me. You guys can fast forward to this if you want. Hold on. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Thought I heard my dad fall. I had to check up on him. He did fall. He fell in the back of his chair. Into it. He fell into his chair. Okay. So I've left you these two here. Computer and Macintosh. And then 2 Corinthians 2:11 says, the Satan should get an advantage over us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. When I came across this parable here, I was mind blown. Okay? Because it just hit me. It hit me hard. It all made sense. Why? Because what are they talking about? Talking about the television. Talking about smartphones. Talking about doorbell ringers with cameras. We're talking about the computer, laptops, right? We're talking about everything that this world here uses to consume us like this. That's what it's all about. So we're trapped in this machine, staring into it all day, doing what? Playing games, watching the Super Bowls, a lot of people watching pornography. And that's what this is. This device in our children's hands is the worst thing that a parent could have ever done to their children. You actually served up a platter of Satan to your own kids when you put this this device inside of their hands. So we are not ignorant of Satan's devices. Okay. Okay, Matthew 7:3-5 tells us, why do you see the speck in your neighbor's eye? I prefer to say your brother's eye even. But do not notice the log in your own eye. Or how can you say to your neighbor, let me take the speck out of your eye while the log is in your own eye? You hypocrites. First, you must take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your neighbor's eye. So, in order for me to share information with you, moral value, spiritual prosperity, understanding, then I would have had to remove the speck from my own eye. And this is all about a moral code. You can't charge somebody for something they're doing when your hand is in the pot doing the exact same thing that you're barking at your children about, your dad about, or anything about. You know, it's like the old saying goes, what is it? Do as I say and not as I do. The worst thing you could ever teach your child, man. Okay. You don't let your child know that you're doing anything wrong, man. You don't party in front of your child. You don't drink in front of them. You don't smoke pot. You don't do drugs. You don't fight. You don't argue. You don't do any of that stuff. So we have to take the log from our own eye in order to see the speck in your brother's eye. Revelations 22:13, Bible Hub. Okay, we're getting ready to jump into 666. This is going to be a detailed information. I hope everybody enjoys it. Please hit the like button and share this content. I don't ask people to always share all of my content and stuff because I know a lot of it can sometimes be boring. Reading the Bible can be boring, but this is going to be a good lesson. You might, if you do share it, you might post it listen to it on double speed after it's been uploaded. Because as I write, when you double speed, it's a little bit faster. So we're going to be going over Revelation 22:13, which says, I am the Alpha, the Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the end. Everything that I'm going to be teaching you today has to deal with 666. All right. So I am the Alpha, which is the Aleph. It is the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet. And I got to ask you a question when I'm done here, because the Omega is the last letter of the Greek alphabet. So you have two different languages. If you go to Bible Hub and you check in Alpha and you put your cursor, you ask for this parable 22:13 in Bible Hub, you put the cursor on the word Alpha, it's going to tell you the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, of Hebrew origin is what it's going to say. Alpha is of Hebrew origin. Omega, if you put your cursor on Omega, it's going to say it's the last letter of the Greek alphabet. So the question that I'm asking is why? Why do they have the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet and the last letter of the Greek alphabet intertwined with one another? Why wouldn't the Omega be the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet? Well, it's not. It's the last letter of the Greek. So what's this telling us? It's telling us that the language, the true Hebrew language, was hijacked. And the language that they speak in Jerusalem today is not the true Hebrew language, but it is a Paleo-Nazi Hebrew intermixing between the Hebrew language and the Greek language. They changed the language. And this is why the Native Americans of this country used to say that the white man speaks with the split tongue. Because our words, when you look at the words and the way that they're formed, there's a lot of different words inside of a word. Like the word create. Create has the word eat in it. And eating something is opposite of create. So that is a double language. To have laughter in the word slaughter, that is a double language. It's a serpent tongue. And this is exactly what they're talking about. So it says that Jesus is the first. And what is this? This is First Colossians. Okay, all connections that I'm getting to today are 666. Okay, we're going to get to 666 and who the beast is. Who the beast is and the number and how we equate it. How do we get to the number of the beast? This is First Colossians 1:15, and it says, for the Son, and now we're talking about Jesus Christ, is the image of the invisible Father. Anybody know what's next? Firstborn. That's what the first is right here. The first is the firstborn over all creation. Okay, also make note here that creation God equals 666. What? Creation God makes 666. I'd like to touch a little bit here. We've been told all our lives the reason why Jesus or Yeshua or Isos or Josephet or Joseph or whoever it was that was put on that tree was put on that tree, that the reason why he was put on that tree is because he claimed that he was one with God. He was God as one with God as himself. And this is what Jesus or Yeshua was persecuted for, because he was saying, I'm God. In the sense, a fragmented piece of God. Anything born into this plane of existence is a broken soul. Okay, and there are entities outside this plane of existence, or outside of what we can't see, a spiritual realm, that are creating havoc. And then there's others that there's literally a war going on around us that protects us, guides us. All right. So creation God, how could I get to that? Well, hold on. The creation God. Now, a friend of mine, she says that there's only one God, period. The Israelite God. I agree that Israel has their God, and that Israel's God, who says that I am one and there is none beside me, is their God. But what is it? Is Israel's God the creation God? Because my friend says that there is no other creator. There's only one creator, and he created both good and evil. Well, I say that, well, Jesus is the one that says, is it not written in your law that I've said you're gods? I think there's another one too. Psalms chapter 82, verse 2, Bible Hub. It's not it. Give me a second. parables where Jesus says that we are gods. So this was the whole thing that was going on. It's 82:6. Psalms chapter 82, verse 6, Bible Hub. Psalms 82, verse 6, Bible Hub. I said, you are gods. You are all sons of the Most High. You all. Didn't say you few, a couple of you. It says, you are all sons of the Most High. I said, you are gods. Jesus, Yeshua, said, we are gods. And this is what he was persecuted for. You are all sons of the Most High. I said, rulers and judges, you are gods. Whoa. Rulers and judges, you are God. What are rulers and judges? They're magistrates. Okay. Magi equals magus equals magicians. Because this world here that we're living in is an illusion, which also equals 666. Creation God equals 666. So Jesus is saying to us, is it not written in your law that I have said ye are gods? And this is what Jesus was condemned for. He was put on that tree and hung, as the Bible says. All right. If the New Testament, which has been written, aligns with what's being said in the Old Testament, what's been written, then you need to heed and hear those words, hear the parables, and try to identify exactly what it is that's being said. Okay, so Jesus here, Christ, is the image, which that's what we're going to be getting to, because that's what this title is about. It's about the image, it's about the beast, it's about the man, and it's about the man's number that is 666. Remember, folks, that this is a riddle. This book is a book of riddles. Proverbs chapter 1, NIV. We're going to pick up from 4. For giving prudence to those who are simple, instead of taking advantage of them, knowledge and discretion to the young, teaching our children this kind of content and letting them make an educated assessment at a younger age, rather than going through your entire life having Jesus shoved down our throats. Okay. It's been shoved down our throats from billions and billions of people. And you got to remember now, let me finish reading this. Let the wise listen and add to their learning. Listen to who? Listen from where? And let the discerning get guidance for understanding proverbs and parables and the sayings and the riddles of the wise. You guys can see it right there yourself. We're down at the bottom. Number 6 is where you see it. The riddles of the wise. So I tell people that this book here is a riddle. And discernment is needed. And discernment comes from source. Okay? So now we know what the first means. The first means the firstborn. And the last means the Last Supper, where Jesus does what? He breaks bread. Okay? Last Supper, Jesus breaks bread. What does Jesus say when he's breaking bread? John 6:56 says, "For my flesh," this is Jesus, "is good food." Flesh, good food? Really? For my flesh is good food, and my blood is good drink. Whoever eats my flesh and drinks my blood remains in me, and I in him. Okay, folks, this is why I say that I don't know that I will find salvation, because I've broke bread. I eat the flesh of Jesus Christ. I know everybody says, "Oh, it's just a metaphor." No, it's a riddle. It's a riddle that must be deciphered. Well, what do you call somebody that eats flesh or drinks blood? I know you hate to hear it. Huh? You already know the answer. Vampire. Someone who eats flesh and drinks blood is a vampire. So when you break bread and you eat that little piece of chip, you take on the flesh of Jesus Christ, you drink the little grape juice, you metaphorically take on the blood of Jesus Christ. That means that you are eating flesh and drinking blood. And I'm sorry to tell you, folks, that is a vampire. Acronym for a vampire is a ghost. All right. And this is why you have the word host in ghost, because we are ghosts inside of flesh suits. When you're born inside of this plane of existence, you're born into a world of death. You're born into a world of sin. The wages of sin are death. So be it when you're born into this plane of existence, that is the first death. Okay, your last death is when you breathe your last breath, and then through death is how we experience life. As is the opposite, you must go through life to experience death. Without that, we don't know what life or death is. So in Mark 15:37 tells us, "And with a loud cry, Jesus yielded up the ghost." Definition for ghost: spirit of the dead. Give me a second, man. My cats are getting ready to go at it again. Knock it off! So Jesus yields up his ghost. The ghost is the spirit of the dead. Let's see. Man, you study this Bible as long as I've been studying it, and just got too much in my head. Hebrews chapter 7, verse 12, Bible Hub. Okay. So Hebrews 7:12 tells us when the priesthood is changed, the law must be changed as well. Okay. So the law was changed. What was it changed? It was changed from a New Testament, get rid of the Old Testament, and now you're supposed to go by the New Testament. But Israel will tell you absolutely no way, no how, because Israel's God are not the same gods of the Gentile. Now, make note also, the things that the Gentile sacrifice to are not of God, but to demons. Okay, that parable is 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 19 through 20. What say then I? That a thing sacrificed to idols is anything, or that an idol is anything. But I say the things which the Gentile sacrifice, they sacrifice to demons. Gentiles sacrifice to demons, and they do not sacrifice to God. Okay? Remember, we're trying to find out who the beast is. I have to go through this stuff the way that I do. Okay? This is Greek for Jesus. Isos, Iesus, Sus. The pronunciation is Iesus. Sus almost sounds like Zeus. Iesus. The phonetic spelling, if you go to, because Iesus equals 2424 in the Strong's Concordance. So if you went to your toolbar and you typed in 2424 Strong's Concordance, what you're going to get is this word here, Iesus. Okay. This breaks down to 2 plus 4, and 2 plus 4 is 66, which equals living in the fields as in wild, savage, and fierce. Okay. Break this number down, 66, it comes down to a 12, which equals disciples, the 12 disciples. And the definition for number 12 in the Strong's Concordance is destruction. And then when you break 12 down to a single digit, what does it become? It becomes a 3, and this equals a Abaddon, which could be a bad dawn. Well, who's in power right now and control, right? Donald Trump, a bad dawn. Look, not everything that I teach, bro, ladies, gentlemen, friends, family, neighbors, not everything that I teach is going to make sense to you. You have to be on a spiritual connection with Source to understand what's being said. So Abaddon would be a bad dawn. Now get this. Trump was the 45th president, which equals 4 plus 5, which equals 9, and he's the 47th president, which is 4 plus 7 equals 11. Donald Trump is 9/11. Donald Trump is a bad Don, Abaddon. Okay? Donald J. Trump, without the vowels in his name, comes to 666. Okay, now what you got to remember now in Isaiah 9:6 says, "Unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given." Okay, this here, son is given, equals the star god. A child is born is Yeshua. Star god equals Jesus. Let me ask you a question. If Jesus was, or Yeshua was a black man from the Shemite race, because the Shemite race are a nation of black people, you got to swallow it. All right. Why was this black man whose child is born in a manger through the womb of a woman turned into a white man who is given the star god, Jesus Christ Superstar? They're putting it right in front of your face, Jesus Christ Superstar. Child is born, a son is given, and the governments, this is what's key, governments shall rest upon his shoulders. Now, this is Jesus we're talking about. And he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, and Prince of Peace. And Jesus will be called Prince of Peace. Prince of Peace. You know, I'll be honest with you, I don't even like this word anymore. It's almost like a fake ass word that doesn't exist. Everybody talks about peace on this earth, but it never comes. You know, peace to me is a 4-letter word. Peace. That's why they added the A. Because peace is an ace. And what's an ace? An ace is a pilot. A pilot is somebody that shoots down other planes and kills people. That's why you have the word ace in peace, because it's a split tongue language I keep trying to share with you. Okay. The abbreviations for Washington are WA, which equals 24, which equals 6. This is 23. This is 1. This is simple gematria. Okay. Also, now remember, Jesus disappeared off grid at age 12. Didn't return until age 30. That's 18 years here. When you break this number down to a single digit, it's a 3. 3 into 18 equals 6. Jesus was crucified at the age of 33, which equals 6. Okay, Jesus's number in Christianity is 888, which is 8 plus 8 plus 8 is 24, and 2 plus 4 is 6. Okay, Jesus is the eternal number. Jesus is the eternal number. Why is 8 the eternal number? Because it's ongoing. It's eternal. It's like a racetrack. So when you add one plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, 6, 7, and 8, that comes to 36, which could be 3 sixes. Jesus is the eternal number. And when you add 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 all the way to 36, that equals 666. Now, Donald J. Trump is 666, but also a president in English gematria equals 666. Now, the kicker to this here is that Joe Biden, beast, okay, equals 666. So now you got this connection. I need you to understand that any president that takes office is 666. All of them, every one of them. This is what it's telling us. You have to be in this gematria calculator for a long ass time to figure this stuff out. Also, I told you earlier, the word illusion is 666. Okay, this word image in the Strong's Concordance is pronounced Salim. All right, and when you spell Salim backwards, it means to molest. Also, you have L both ways. Now remember, L in the Bible is God Almighty, and the number for L in the Strong's Concordance is 410. Image is I'm a mage. In image definition, Salim is to shade. Us, our light, our essence, who we are. We're from the light. We are pure light. And our light has been captured, shaded in a skin suit. The skin suit, the flesh, is Satan, the Gentile, which I got to get to as well. Okay. The definition for Gentile in the Bible, or even you can look it up in Webster's, Merriam's, any dictionary at all, and the Gentile's definition is anything other than a Jew. Well, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if God's children are Jews. Okay. I know that they're Israelites. They're Hebrew, and slang word Jew was created. This word was created. Who was it created from? The Gentile. Anything other than a Jew, a heathen, or pagan, Mormon, or non-Mormon. Okay, and here's the kicker. Christians. Not me. I didn't write the definition for Gentile in the Webster's. I didn't write it in Merriam's. I didn't write it in dictionary.com. I just studied it and figured it out. Anything other than a Jew, a heathen or a pagan is a Gentile, Mormon or non-Mormon is a Gentile, and Christians are Gentile. What is a Gentile? It is a Gentile. Split tongue language. Okay? Gentiled in flesh. What is a gen? It is a genie, or even a genie. Okay, because what's the bottle? Our flesh suit. We're trapped inside of a flesh suit. Our spirit, our soul, our light has been trapped inside of a genie flesh suit, a bottle that keeps us encased, encapsulated, trapped for eternity in this flesh suit, unless by what the Bible says of our transgressions, you have a contrite heart and you repent. So a Gentile is a Gentile in flesh, which is a genie in the bottle. The bottle is the flesh suit. All right. Think of something here. The Washington Monument that I told you earlier, WA for Washington, comes to 24. 2 plus 4 is 6. Okay. The Washington Monument also stands 555 feet tall. When you multiply that by 12 inches, it comes to 6,666 inches. It's also from the cement foundation that it's laid upon. It's 55.5 feet across times 12 inches is 666 inches. It was designated October 15th. 1 plus 5 is 6, 1966, and it took 6 years to build. Fox News is 666 because it's the 6th letter, the 15th letter, and 24th letter. 1 plus 5 is 6. 2 plus 4 is 6. Fox News is 666. And Donald Trump, who is 666, told you on Fox News that all news is fake news. Truth bombs right there in front of us. All news is fake news. Also, it said that the Earth goes around the sun at 18.5 miles per second, which is 66,600 miles per hour, while flying through space at 2,843,666 miles per hour. This is all theory. Okay, I live by empirical evidence, not theory. Okay, what's the difference? Science that I follow is you do an experiment and the experiment comes out with the same results every time. Theory is you give a result, you change the equations, you add this sum here, you take away that sum there, you crossbreed this, you crossbreed that. I know that's the wrong word, but cross-reference these numbers with one another, and then it's based on theory. Like the sun, since I've been a child, watching it change through history in the last 60 years, they used to believe that the sun was like 130 million miles away, and then it changed to 108 million miles away, and then it changed to 93 million miles away. And if you invert the 9, then you have 3 6s on that. So what this plane of existence has done is stolen our common sense. It's stolen our logic, and it's taken away from us our reason, because we wear blinders, which brought me to how I started the show. Removing the speck from your brother's eye. You must first remove the log from your own eye. I don't know everything about the Bible, but what I do know is I know 666 like nobody's business. Okay? I mean, we had this, which plagued our nation, which is a certificate of vaccination. ID. COVID stood for Certificate of Vaccination Identification. It was an ID marker. It is used in conjunction with the 6G network that will be coming out. When the 6G network comes out, they're going to have the ability, because people have taken a vaccination with metals in it, chicken DNA, all kinds of, I've even heard that they use child, probably doesn't make sense. It would be like, I heard that Jack in the Box or one of these or McDonald's, one of these fast food restaurants, use 3% moose lips. And when you hear and read stuff like that, it's funny as shit, because there ain't enough moose on the freaking face of the earth to make up for 3% of the meat inside of the things. So this is what I mean, that AI on this plane of existence is programmed to lie. Look, go and watch a program, one of those little game shows is called What Would You Say? And it's just a simple game show, man. It's a truth or false game show. And the questions that these people are asking are ridiculous that they're saying that are true. All right. You just know it ain't true. But yet this is what they're trying to teach our children. They're casting spells. That's what the television does, right? What does it do? It programs, right? It programs us. Okay, what is it? It's a casting. It's a casting. It's a spell. And programming, casting, and it's their vision, mankind's vision. Mankind equals 66 in simple gematria. Mankind's what's created on the 6th day of creation. There's 2 different creations going on, folks. There's one that's created on the 6th day of creation in an image of God. And the image of God is to shade a phantom. This is where you get your Phantom of the Opera. An image is to shade a phantom. It is an illusion or a representative figure. Especially an idol. So if you went to Bible Hub and you type in Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 or 27, and you put the cursor on the word image, this is the definition right here. So that God that created a man in his own image was permitted. And a friend of mine, she keeps getting upset with me because I keep saying that there are other gods. Well, there has to be other gods. If there wasn't any other gods, then why would the supreme creator, God of Israel, which, by the way, God of Israel equals 666. God of Israel is Yahweh. And when I figured this one out, it broke me. It left me in a haze because I've started learning now that all the gods of the Bible are 666. Nurhanseg, which is an Anunnaki, she is 666. Image of Satan, 666. New York is 666. Witchcraft. Here's a great one. Two great ones for you, man, are the archons. Well, what are the archons? They're fallen angels. Archons. The archons is 666. Giant aliens. Don't you love that one? Giant aliens is 666. So when it talks about giants and stuff inside of the Bible, I don't know about there being 33, 34 foot tall people that could step on you and squash you like a bug. But the aliens, the giant aliens exist, is us. Then you have Lord Amun-Ra as well. Here's a good one for you. Santa Claus equals 666. Now, why is this one so big? Because Santa Claus and Jesus are tied in with one another on the same day. You see, in Revelations, it says, "O Lucifer, how you've fallen, how you've been cut down to the ground, O morning star," or "O day star. O Lucifer, how you've been cut down to the ground, O day star, how you did weaken the nations." And then you have Isaiah 14:12 that says, Revelations 22:16. I got these backwards. 22:16 is the one that says, "I, Jesus, have sent my angel to the churches that testify that I am the root and offspring of David, the bright morning star." Jesus tells you himself that he's the bright morning star. He told you himself. And then Lucifer is the day star. And when you go to the Strong's Concordance and you say, and you go to 14:12 of Isaiah and you pull it up in Bible Hub and you put the cursor on the word day star means morning star. So Lucifer is being referred to as the morning star, and Jesus tells you that he is the morning star. Also, Pizzagate is 666. Why Pizzagate? Because you hear about everything has to deal with that word, the pedophilia word. Yeah. See, I don't hold anything back. This is why I don't get a bunch of subscribers, man. If you stumble across this channel and you take on this information, then you figure it out. Also, the magic bot, what's being programmed, what we're being taught. You see, technology got more advanced, but at the same time it became more advanced, it dumbed us down. Why? Because everybody's playing games, everybody's watching porn on their phones, everybody's walking contrary to what has been told to follow. Now, I don't remember if I said it or not already, but also vaccination in English gematria comes to 666. The Book of the Dead comes to 666. Here's a terrifying one. A COVID vaccine comes to 666. And a COVID kill comes to 666. Here's one for you. Humanity comes to 666. The unseen. Joe Biden beast. I said that earlier. The creation God. I said that one earlier. The start. Well, who's the start? What's the start? The start is the beginning. What's the beginning? The beginning is time. Time is 60 seconds, 60 minutes, and 24 hours. 2 + 4 = 6. That's 666. Jesus is the beginning. Jesus is time. I've been holding back. I've been saying it for a while that the Spirit, the Supreme Creator, He didn't create the Gentile race. This God that created itself in an image, which is an illusion, is the one. It doesn't exist. It's not real. Something was permitted, and it tells us so in 22, or let's see. I'm not really sure. I think it's 22:15. The second beast was permitted to breathe the breath of life into the first beast. Okay, Revelations 13:15. The second beast was given power. Something was given power to breathe into the image of the first beast, so that the first beast could speak and cause those who refuse to worship it to worship the image, to be killed. The second beast was given power to give breath to the image of the first beast, so that the image could speak and cause all who refuse to worship it to be killed. Images. Your image is a phantom. The synonym and noun for a phantom is a ghost. It's an illusion. Representative, especially an idol. If you go to Bible Hub and you type in Genesis 1:26 not in Bible Hub, and then you go to the very top one up front, then it'll say that you are not to make for yourself any graven image. Okay, well, why is this so important? Because I keep trying to teach people and they won't listen that Jesus is the image. He tells you that he is the image of God. Whatever it was that was created on the sixth day of creation is not the supreme creator, but it was something that was used of the supreme creator. And that's what Elohim tells us. Elohim equals plural of Eloah. And it means gods in the ordinary sense. Ordinary sense. So Elohim, and this is 430 of the Strong's Concordance. God, Elohim, plural of Eloah, gods in the ordinary sense, but specifically used. Wow. Used. Elohim also, I believe, or I feel, I hate the word believe, because the word believe has the word lie in it. And to believe in the lie is to have a belief system. People just randomly believe in a belief system. Look, I either know or I don't know. I don't pretend to know, and I don't believe in anything anymore. If it can't be backed by facts rather than faith, if it can't be based on empirical evidence rather than hope, then I don't believe any longer. I stopped believing in Santa Claus, which is one of the reasons why we're taught from childhood about Santa Claus. Because when you teach a child about Santa Claus, what if we are teaching our children about God at that age rather than Santa Claus? Because children, they believe in Santa Claus like anybody's business until that day they find out. And then when they find out that the tooth fairy ain't real, Santa Claus ain't real, the Easter bunny ain't real, everything that we've been teaching our children about these material things, it when it's stripped from them and taken from them, now it makes it that much harder for them to believe in what they can't see, because they once truly believed that Santa Claus existed. They believed in the Easter Bunny, in the fairy, in the Tooth Fairy, and then you took it all away from them. When you take all that, if we taught our children from the beginning, when they're very young, we taught them about source. We taught them this kind of information. We told them what kind of world that they're in. But the thing is we all got reprobate minds, folks. And that's a serious problem. You got scales on your eyes. The only way that the scales can come off your eyes is for you to repent with a contrite heart for falling into this plane of existence and walking in transgressions of God's law, the supreme creator's laws, whatever he did. I know that there is one supreme creator, but I don't know that that supreme creator created both races. I think that the supreme creator created an Israelite race, and that God that created mankind in an image, which is 666, is a lower God that was used. As I told you, Elohim, it tells us in the Bible, is the one that in the beginning, God created the heaven and earth. That God is Elohim. And the definition for Elohim is a plural of Elohim. It's gods in the ordinary sense, but specifically used. It's used. Used what?
I don't know where you are, but you can show me. Go to privacy settings. Select location.
I don't know why I did that. Used of the supreme God. So there is something that is supreme over the Elohim. And I believe that the Elohim could be called Anunnaki. I believe. I hate the word believe. I'm trying to remove that word from my vocabulary. It's hard. It's hard to, I'd like to remove the word God from my vocabulary, and just use Supreme Spirit, the Supreme Truth. Well, I don't know who come into the room, but welcome. Leave a chat and say hello, and I'll say hello back. So in 23:15, it told us that something was permitted to give breath to the life of the image. So that causes a great deal of conflict when you're trying to put these scriptures back into place. Could have something been given power that created the material world, because the Supreme Spirit is telling us not to worship anything in a graven image. And that's what this world is. It's all image, all of it, everything that we see and view. The material world is made up from the spiritual world on the other side of what is spiritual. That's what grinds the wheels that creates this plane of existence here through the pineal gland, which is the all-seeing eye, which is the third eye, which they put on top of the dollar bill. It's right in front of your face. It's illuminated. That's where we receive downloads. The brain is simply an antenna to the spiritual world. And mankind has found a way through technology, the 5G network, the vaccinations, and everything that are taking place, how to hijack our minds. And if you go to a site and you say, mouse is guided through a maze through probes in his brain, it'll show you how they're digitally making a mouse navigate through a maze, and it shows you the arrows that they want the mouse, and that mouse walks along those arrows perfectly. That's the same thing with us through the networks, through the 5G. This is why they shut the country down. They wanted to put these towers up, and they wanted to put them by the schools and stuff. You got to understand that with the metals, the nickel, that goes inside of these vacs, these I got to be careful here, man. I make one wrong thing, I'm going to get my channel shut down. But if you use these VACs in conjunction with the 5G network, and they reverse the magnetrons on these towers, then what you're going to have is an external wave that is going out. And what they can do is they can ionize the air that is around you, and they can literally fry your brain. They can fry it out, man. It'll make you like a zombie. And this is why this world, this plane of existence, loves zombie movies. It's why they love vampire movies. And that's it. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the lesson. I don't know who came in. If you would have said something, I would have said hi to you. Thanks for coming in and listening. All praise and glory goes to the supreme spirit of truth, the living one. If you're going to worship the creator, you got to worship the creator in spirit and truth and nothing else. Okay, you don't worship anything that's in a flesh suit. Hey, what's up, brother? Nice to see you. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, I'm getting ready to end the stream. I wish I could have seen you earlier. Yeah, this plane of existence has become completely distraught. It has fallen into depravity. The fornication has taken over the world. It's at an all-time high, and there's not anything that we can do. Okay, God doesn't hear the prayers of a sinner, so the Bible says. I don't know if that could possibly be true, because at the end of your life, when you draw your last breath, if there is truly a judgment, and your life is being reviewed for judgment, then the creator is going to see me and those that love him with contrite hearts, humbly prostrate before them, repenting for their transgressions and doing what is right. Yes, he did. I know. Yeah, that's one of the stories that kind of always, there's a lot of stories in the Bible, man, that are just off to me, man. Sodom and Gomorrah and the daughters who got their father drunk. I don't believe that story. I don't believe that a man's junk works when they're intoxicated, especially when the Bible tells you that the father did not know that his daughters laid down on him. Listen, you can't copulate when you don't know what's going on. You have to be in your mind conscience when that act is taking place. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I'm just not, that I don't buy into. But anyways, I'm going to cut out, man. Thanks for stopping in, Master TV, the ET, son of man. Love you, brother. Always appreciate you in the comment section. Take care. This is White Raptor News Ministries.